Good morning, everyone, and welcome to the Sunday service of Now Creations. I always like to mention it's just a joy to be here with you. Just nice to share this time, this space, to know that place within each one of us, that when it opens within one of us, it opens within all of us. It is a shared space, and what a joy it is to share it with you. Just one announcement. I'd like to encourage all of you to think about joining us for the New Earth this evening from 6 to 7:30. Just go to our website, click on study groups, and scroll down to the New Earth. My dear friends, it continues to be such a great joy to greet you in these weekly teachings. Last week's teachings on the three U-turns, has made a major impact on so many of us. We are truly changing. You might recall that first U-turn. It was the shift from the egoic personality to your inner soul consciousness. And then the second shift was from your soul consciousness to your participation in the God consciousness and your sense of oneness with all others. And then that final shift into being one with the God consciousness, one with the God consciousness and your devotion to it. These U-turns are quite significant and they have influenced many of us. Today, we're going to use these three U-turns as a basis to reach the point of no return, the point of no return to the ego. This is such a big expansion in consciousness for all of us. I encourage you to take some appropriate notes so that you may attain this point of no return to the ego. I will begin with a quote from Shakespeare, then share with you an organizational model, and then lastly explain the practical ways of moving beyond this point of no returning to the ego. First, the quote from Shakespeare. I have loved Shakespeare throughout my adult years, and I have many, many favorite quotes from his plays. One of my absolute favorites is Brutus's statement from Shakespeare's play, Julius Caesar, wherein he states, one of my favorites, there is a tide in the affairs of men, which taken at the flood leads on to fortune. Omitted, all the voyage of their life is bound in shallows and in miseries. On such a full sea, we are now afloat, and we must take the current when it serves, or lose our ventures. This quote is appropriate for us, for we are at the point where our tide is on the rise. Our tide, our U-turns, can now lead us on to greater fortune of expanded spiritual awareness. We are quite prepared to take this voyage, to move beyond the shallows and the miseries of life, the ego, and to be crystal clear in the sense that moving into the great fortunes of life, that we might be able to move into that higher spiritual awareness and once and for all, move beyond the shallows and the miseries of that separated ego. I love this quote, and I feel that it gives us an impetus for today's teaching. Let me now give you an organizational pattern, which is actually the name of a book by Gabriel Moran. The motto is Vision and Tactics. First, one must have the vision of what is possible, then provide the tactics to accomplish this vision. First the vision, and then the tactics to accomplish it. This is what I now want to do. First, to explain the vision, and then to present the tactics to realize the vision. First, the vision. The vision has been for us over the past several years the object of our study, and it was capsulized in the last week's teaching of the three shifts, the three U-turns. That first U-turn again, the shift from the ego to our soul consciousness. Secondly, that elevation of our soul consciousness into the God consciousness. And then lastly, our oneness with the God consciousness to which we are dedicated, to which we have given our allegiance. Our vision, our goal is precisely this, to move into that expanded oneness with the God consciousness as us. Let me just say it again. That's the vision, to move into that expanded God consciousness as us. And no more to return to the shallows of our egoic personalities with all of the miseries that come with it. What I would now like to share with you then are 7 tactics to accomplish this vision. But first, let me change the word tactics. It's a little bit of a harsh, forceful word into a softer word, the word practice or commitments. The first practice will be no surprise to you. The first practice is the absolute importance of our daily spiritual practices. The absolute importance of our daily spiritual practices, especially the importance of meditation. This first practice has 3 very significant points. The first one is that our oneness with the God Spirit is an experience of the soul. It is a feeling of oneness within our soul self, experienced especially in meditation. While some of us might experience this connection in nature, the most consistent way to experience it daily is in meditation. It is absolutely important for each one of us to have a meditation practice that connects us with the God Spirit. Just need to say this again. It's extremely important for each one of us to have a daily meditation practice to connect us with the God Spirit. I say this because what I've often found is that when people say they are meditating, they are really just thinking, or they're trying to be quiet, or they're trying to focus, but they are not connecting with the God consciousness within them. They seem to stay simply in their heads. I say this not to be critical, but to assist you to connect with the God Spirit. It is only by entering into this spirit connection that you begin to experience the presence of the God Spirit. And our goal, as you know well, is to have this daily connection to be our all the time connection, our all the time presence in the everyday world. I've been very, very happy, extremely pleased that many of you who are attending our Monday evening meditation have come to the experience of realizing that after the meditation, you're able to maintain the presence. You're able to maintain the feeling so that when you have completed the meditation, you're then able to bring this presence into your daily awareness. This is such a joy, not certainly only for me, but for those experiencing it, to be able to sustain the presence received in our meditation, and then to bring that presence into our daily activities. This is what I mean about sustaining the presence, being able to have that presence as an all the time presence, an eyes open present. But this will only happen in the quiet of meditation. And let me just add that it is the beauty of this quiet that will raise us into our expansion of consciousness. The second point. Please consider this. You cannot read or think yourself into the God connection. You cannot read or think your way into the God connection. This is really what was wrong with the dictum of René Descartes when his phrase cogito ergo sum was translated to mean I think, therefore I am. The truth is that you can be quite conscious without thinking. So many of you naturally experience this when you are alert and attentive, but without thought. You are alert and you are attentive with consciousness, with awareness. You're alert, you're attentive with presence. You're alert, you're attentive with love, but you're not thinking. You can be conscious, and you are conscious, but do not have to be thinking. You must come to realize that thinking is simply one function of consciousness. It's just one thing that consciousness does. Consciousness also helps us to remember. It gives us feelings. It helps us to experience. But what consciousness most does is to be aware of itself, to be conscious that I am conscious. Consciousness leads to the knowledge of itself. Consciousness loves to be conscious as you. Consciousness loves to express itself as you. You, knowing yourself as consciousness, as presence, as the God Spirit. This is the realization that we desire to achieve in our meditation. Let me now offer you another understanding of why reading, thinking will not lead you into presence. Now just consider this. You're reading a very interesting page in a book. Then you go on to read the next page. Now, what happened to the previous page? It's gone. One thought leads to the next thought. But the next thought makes you forget the previous thought. Because of this principle, the mind cannot be in two places at the same time. Let me say it again. The mind, your thinking, cannot be in two places at the same time. As soon as your mind goes to the next thought, the previous one is gone. Let me give you another example. Have you not often experienced this when you try to do a 2 or 3 minute reading of, say, the Daily Word or some little booklet in the morning? After reading it, within about 5 minutes at most, you often forget what you just read. Do you not? You just forgot what you just got done reading because your mind is now in a new place. And the mind cannot be in a new place and the old place at the same time. Here's the point. This is not the way it is with presence. This is not the way it is with the God presence. Presence is a much vaster energy than thinking. So many of you have experienced the following. When you have completed your meditation, you feel differently than when you began. And you then are able to take this feeling, this presence with you into the day. The presence achieved in meditation is a presence that you are able to take with you and gladly do so because unlike thinking, which lets go of the previous thought, presence is something that can influence the way you go about your daily activities. Isn't this the goal? Please listen carefully. Not to just meditate for a few minutes, but to bring those few moments into a presence from which you daily and consciously are present in your activities. Do you not clearly understand this? It's not meditating and, oh yes, I did the practice, but it's coming into the presence and knowing that that presence can be with us throughout the day. I want to encourage you to achieve the daily sustainable presence of your meditation. I want to say this again. I so much heartfully encourage you to have the daily sustainable presence of your meditation. I want to make one more comment about our meditation practice that is highly important. Here's what I have noticed. And again, let me say, I'm talking as a friend to you. I'm talking as a friend. I want you to know what I have come to know. I don't want any of us to have to return to the shallows and miseries of our ego. And unfortunately, some do. Here's what I want to say. What I've oftentimes found is that many of us get off track spiritually, or maybe we're just struggling with an issue. These are very easy things, unfortunately, that come into our lives, and we can understand, and we sometimes get discombobulated. Oftentimes, when a person says they're having a difficulty, I then ask them, have you been doing your spiritual practices during these times? Have you been doing your spiritual practices? The truthful answer that many of us have said is, No, no, I haven't been daily faithful to my spiritual practices. You're right. When you are not faithful to your daily spiritual practices, it's very easy to get off track, to start struggling, to go back into the shallows and the miseries of the ego. What we all need to be is to be disciplined, or perhaps maybe you'd like the softer word, to be committed to our daily spiritual practices, especially in meditation. To be committed to our daily spiritual practices, especially meditation. Let me also be clear. Eventually, the discipline, the commitment becomes a joy. Because during these times, you most become what you want to be. The commitment to daily meditation helps you to be what you most want to be, namely the God presence in the world as you. How many times have you said, I just want to do the will of God? Well, here it is. Take the time to meditate, to know that will of God within you, and to come forward as that presence. As we do so, we are kinder, we are nicer, we're smarter, we feel so much better, as do our family and friends. Please ask yourself this question. Is all this possible? Kinder, nicer, smarter, wiser, more pleasing through my daily spiritual practice? The answer unequivocally is yes. You see, in Shakespeare's words, there is a tide in the affairs of men when taken at the flood, lead on to fortune. Omitted, all the voyage of their life is bound to shallows and to miseries. We, you and I, are on the cusp of a rising tide. We are. We are. Let us continue to help each other to ride this wonderful wave. In conclusion, you probably noticed I completed only the first of these 7 practices, but it is the most important. Daily meditation, which generates the presence within us. It is the most important because it is the doorway to the rest of them, although the rest of them themselves do have their own importance. May I just remind you that we are helping each other to grow in the most beautiful conscious awareness there is, to be the God Spirit, to bring heaven to earth, to be in the joy, just to be in the absolute joy of goodness, kindness, creative intelligence, oneness. We're helping each other. And what a joy it is to advance together. Let me now take you into meditation, and what a joy it is to do so. Let's begin as we normally do, by simply focusing on that presence within us. And as we allow that presence within us when we make that U-turn into the God consciousness, we know that beautiful presence then that comes into our lives. Let us begin this journey into ourselves by again focusing on the breath, just breathing in and breathing out. And as we do so, allow the breath to do what the breath does. Allow the breath to settle your body, empty your mind, and bring your soul to the fore. Please begin. Did you notice? Did you notice how easier it's becoming to move into the inner you? Not your body, not your mind, but that inner you. Are you noticing how more quickly and more substantially you go to that inner presence? You're able to do this because you made the first U-turn. You know your inner consciousness so much more readily now. And would you just take that moment to recognize, yes, this is the inner me. I'm fully conscious, fully free, fully aware of my consciousness. Right now, we're able to have a very wonderful experience. Let's do this together. Are you noticing that as soon as you began to focus on your soul self, your inner consciousness, did you not notice that there was a feeling, a sensation that went through your body? Did you not notice how calm you became? How peaceful? Perhaps right now you feel the pulsation through your body. You have a right to say, well, what happened? This is what happened. Your soul, with this sense of the God presence, released the biochemistry of all of your glands, all of these endorphins that are now moving through your body. That's what happened. This is the beginning of the presence within you. Flows throughout your body. There's much more. Here we go. Would you place your hand over the top of your sternum, top of your breastbone, the thymus gland? Right behind the palm of your hand, within your body, this is your soul space. This is the space within your body where you connect with the God Spirit. Would you now take a moment to do precisely this? Hand over your heart, focusing within you. Connect with the God Spirit, the Holy Spirit. Raise your soul into the God consciousness. Now, right now at this moment, in your connection with the God Spirit, do you not feel a greater energy, a light, an illumination coming from the God presence into your soul? Are you not feeling that right now? So now, are you not feeling these two things? The biochemistry of your body amplified by the Holy Spirit's light within your soul. What you are experiencing right now is what we mean by presence. It's a feeling within your soul, within your body, within your emotions. And they will guide your mind into the activities of your day. It's a presence that you're quite conscious of, that you will now take with you. Now, a question for you. What did you just do? You meditated. Second question. Do you not feel a presence that you will take with you? Happy to take with you. Happy to share. I rest my case about the importance of meditation. because of your U-turns, you have reached the point of no return. You know this. Let's continue to help each other. Namaste.